Hi, I'm here to talk to you a little bit about units. So I want to say some things about how to derive units and how to properly use units. And I'm going to start just with a simple one of force. Now we said before force is measured in newtons. And so sometimes you might ask yourself, what is a newton? And if you're not sure of this, there are a couple ways to do it. One equation that we're going to use later on relates to net force. And it says net force is equal to mass times acceleration. Now we know the units for mass and acceleration as well. Mass is measured in kilograms. Acceleration is measured in meters per second squared. So if we just look at the units on this, as is often good to do when we're trying to solve problems, we can say, hey, we know that the units of kilograms meters per second squared should be equivalent to newtons. Because the units for these things always have to add up. Whenever you do problems, your units should work out correctly. If there is a problem with the units, that might be a sign that you did something incorrectly. Let's just continue with this example of net force, mass, and acceleration. So let's say we want to find the net force on something. And that object is 2 kilograms. And it has an acceleration of 3 meters per second squared. You will often see in problems that show all work including equation and substitution with units. When you do that, there's a few things that you're going to want to do. First of all, before you even write this step, you need to actually show the equation. So I'm going to go backwards a little bit, and I'm going to say, hey, we're trying to solve for net force. We know net force is mass times acceleration. We know the mass is 2 kilograms, and the acceleration is 3 meters per second squared. If you get anything wrong with the units, you can lose points on tests. So you don't want to do that. If you forget the square, for example, 2 kilograms times 3 meters per second, you will lose points for not having that square. Units are very important in this course. And then ultimately you can put your result. 2 times 3 is 6. The units are kilograms meters per second squared. And we also happen to know that because this is force, it has to be 6 newtons. Now technically both of these answers are correct. I'm going to stick with 6 newtons because that's the unit we choose to use most of the time when we're dealing with force. Let's say though that you make a mistake. Let's say instead of doing it this way, and this would be like a full credit answer because you have your equation, you have your substitution into that equation with the correct units, and you have an answer with the correct units. But let's say you make a mistake, and instead of that you did something like net force is mass divided by acceleration. And you try to solve it that way, and you said 2 kilograms divided by 3 meters per second squared. And that works out to be 0.66 kilograms per meter per second squared. The fact that the units are not right, that should be a sign to you that there's a problem with this. So putting units in and following them through the entire problem can help give you clues to whether that you did the question correctly. And if the units don't work out, then there's probably a sign that there's a mistake in there someplace. Thank you.